Joe, Decks and Draughts. We're gonna have ourselves a little quickie today. A little quickie. Little fast one. I figured I'd spend a little time just sharing kind of what's been going on with the channel lately. It's been a while since we've checked in, and that I've never checked in. So, real quick, like I said, I want to do this one fast. So, we're sipping pretty today with Odell's. It's a fruited sour. And my glass, we're going back to mine. There's a reason we're going back to mine, because I've got a thing that you can get your hands on this bad boy for. I'm doing something. I'm doing a thing, which we're going to talk about. See, in trying to speed this up, that's not a terrible pour. It's not a terrible pour. Boom. There we go. Fruited sour. I don't actually remember what the fruits were. Guava. I don't care. Whatever. First things first, thank you guys so much for all of the support on the channel. We hit a whole heck of a lot of milestones in the last week and change. 100 subs, and like not from friends, which was great. I think like only like my first 5 or 6 were friends. Everything else has been natural growth, and that's felt so good and so heartwarming. It's been so great to meet all of you, and I hope to meet more of you, of course. Highest watched video, I did my top 10 favorite Monarch cards for not Monarch heroes, and that just blew everything else out of the water. Which was fun. I thought that was kind of a goofy video. It's nice to know that people are hungry for kind of not just the box openings and the market chats. I've been trying to get away from market conversations, which is ironic given that I talk marketing conversations. My second highest video was actually the marketing one, where I didn't show a single card. And I got a lot of people saying you really should do more of those things. And I plan to. I've got some cool ideas in the works for that. So be on the lookout. I do have much more content to create. Also, on the list of milestones, I did a learn to play kit. I don't know if you guys are very familiar with it, so I'm actually going to show it off real fast, but it's hitting nearly 1,000 views, and I've been super excited about that. I've partnered with Saint and Don Eichbacher. I hope that's how you say his name, but Saint over at Fabled Hunters did a whole video on the kit that I created, and basically it's designed to help people create just bulk decks and get started in their communities in a super easy, super efficient, relatively cheap way outside of buying bulk. So far, that bad boy has scaled to 5,000, 6,000 decks. Stores have reached out to me constantly saying this thing has been a lifesaver. I'm so thankful for it, and yeah, that's nearing 1,000 views, so I'm excited. That's going to be linked in the comment section, of course. But like I said, I want to show that off as well as talk a little bit about what else I'm working on. So hang tight. I'm going to sip this, and I'll show you some stuff. So a couple months back, I came up with this Learn to Play event kit. Basically, I was just buying bulk like crazy because there was a ton of it out there. And I said, how do I scale this? How do I build like 100, 200 decks for my local community and not get stuck with like 5,000 Wrecking Blows, and I still have to buy Razor Reflexes and whatnot. So I came up with some deck lists that are very easily, that they're evenly spread across a bunch of different commons. They're accessible for people who want to learn to play. They're like, oh, I really like this Arcane Rising hero. They're built with just those decks. And then I made up a kit, and this got a heck of a lot more attention than I expected it to. I just threw it out into the world. Gave you a little about this kit. Additional assets to get you started, which I'll show you off in just a sec. I've got kit updates, rules of the game, how to make it official so stores can look at this and know where their resources are and know what resources they have in order to make this official and make players official. I came up with this cool event announcement, so all I have to do is just put in what the event type is, date, time, and then that 2-word identifier for events, and people can just go. If you're new, which this was huge for me because we had 10, 12 new players show up, and I can't walk every single one of them through getting onto FAB TCG and making a profile. So I actually just created instructions if you're brand spanking new, and we just print that out, fill it out, and go. Made up decks. So these are my deck lists. So if you've got a ton of bulk and you want to build a bunch of Learn to Play decks, this is just getting you introduced to the game. Sorry, that's the cat. Introduced to the game, as well as there's a lot of room for growth here. A lot of easy updates somebody can make. So I'm excited. You know, it's great for somebody to look at. And it's like, I'm really sick and tired of how much not dash I have in the dash deck. Well, good, go change those. And just like that, you're engaged with the game. So I made up a couple of these. I am actively working on Monarch heroes right now. I wanted to wait for Unlimited to come out, and I wanted to see how the Blitz decks do. I don't know if I'm going to do deck lists For Monarch, I might just let the Blitz decks do the talking, but the thing that I did create are these hero guides. So these little half-page, how do you play your hero? What are some strengths and weaknesses? What's the play style? What's the complexity, in my opinion? Some tips and tricks on how to work with their special ability. So how do you deal with boost? How do you deal with Azalea and her dominate? All things like that. So I did that for all the heroes. I am working on these for Monarch. And then my own little plugs. Some special thanks, and I've added a little bit of a Patreon supporter thing. We're going to talk about that. But the other thing that I did is for those people who are not sure how to talk to stores. Oops. So if you have an LGS and you're looking and you're saying, man, I just walking in and saying I want to buy this from you is only going to really get you through the first major purchase of theirs. So they're probably not going to resonate with that. So if you do have a local game store that's on the fence of supporting this game, print this out and send it over to them. This kickstarts the research. It has a bunch of different testimonials from various store owners. It has, how do you keep in touch with them? An intro to Flesh and Blood. Has a whole bunch of links and things that can help point them to the FAB pages. We talk about it, Quickly Gaming Steam, Tournament TCG with collectible appeal, Thrill of the Chase. So we talk a little bit about value, organized play. This is a great thing that I've passed off to a couple of stores and had them look, and they're just like, oh, I don't need to go do this research on my own. Great to go print it out and send it in. All this stuff is absolutely free. Feel free to click on the links in the comments and use them and send them and pass them around and help grow this game. So those are the two things that I've already created. The last thing that I'm actually creating in addition to these is a teaching playmat. So I'm using the two-sided TCG, the two-sided FAB Flesh and Blood TCG player playmat. And I'm actually going to add some teaching elements to it. So that way you can just bring it and then somebody can look at it, not necessarily know the game, but ask a lot fewer questions and kind of know what to do with their turns. So those are the assets that I've created so far. So adding into the mix of things, I kind of teased it towards the middle there, but I have decided that I was going to give Patreon a bit of a shot. So part of it is I've been making swag anyway, and it's kind of cool swag. So I've got pint glasses, I'm making up coasters, as well as I've got some other neat ideas. So I am starting out a Patreon. I would love it if you would consider joining. I've got a couple different tiers if you just kind of want to dabble and help out a little bit. I actually have one for that will get you this pint glass and coasters. I also have one specifically for business owners and content creators. So I have all these different assets that I'm making between the playmats, between the learn to play kits. I like the idea of perhaps forming a partnership with you, where I'm basically doing some graphic design work to get you to kind of co-brand assets. So co-brand the learn to play kit, co-brand the retailer intro kit, co-brand playmats that I make, as well as whatever other assets I end up creating. So I have kind of a collaborator tier where we're basically very much in partnership with each other, and we're kind of doing dual brand and assets, and that'll get you early access to the things that I'm actively creating, so we can kind of unleash at the same time. So I'm excited about that. Again, that's something that's in the that's something that is also in the links. Would love it if you would consider signing up for Patreon. I will probably come up with other things later, but right now I'm just kind of testing the waters with it. So I would really appreciate that. Last things to talk about, just the different series I've got going on, things that I plan on kind of creating. I just started up Brew and a Brew. That was with Data Doll. That was super cool. A lot of people really liked that, and everybody, if you've been watching the channel, you also know I'm a big Azalea fan, and I want to try something with Azalea. I want to try a defensive Azalea a little bit, and maybe less reliant on arrows, and try some stuff with how good are the traps really. I got some thoughts. I also want to do a heck of a lot more Blitz and beer. I've only done one, and that was with Midtown Merchant and Mitch Murray, who was fantastic. A lot of people love the daylights out of that. I loved the daylights out of that. I want to have a beer with you and play a game over Discord or something, and then let's just talk. I'm gonna do more of those. I promise I will do more of those. I'm gonna sip this real quick. I have a few boxes of Monarch Unlimited coming in. I'm kind of sort of waiting for Final Fantasy Opus 14. I've been really dropping in Final Fantasy, not because Flesh and Blood has been so much fun, but because Final Fantasy hasn't been a lot of fun. And I think that's just the lull of, we didn't get the last set until months later, and now everybody's hyped up for 14, and we just missed this set. It doesn't feel great. But the community is growing like crazy. I will do more stuff for that. As far as the month of June, it is going to be a little bit busy for me. I've got a lot of different Learn to Play events. If you caught my video, last week, I think, we exploded, and we've got 4 more stores actually now looking to do events and looking to get started with the game. So I'm using that Learn to Play kit that I just showed you, and we're gonna run events there and try to build out community that's in those separate areas. So now we went from basically one group in Colorado Springs, which is about 2.5 hours away from me, to now we got about 5-6 dozen people playing the game all over the state, and we're all coming together. Oh, and it's great, and it's wonderful. That also means I gotta spend some time building bulk decks. You probably see a little of that behind me. This is not even close. And then again, I definitely want to play more games. So that's what I have for you today. Like I said, quick check-in with what we got going on in June. It's going to be, I don't know how much I'm going to be able to do per se. I really want to get some of this other stuff done. I also have some cool collaborations with some store owners, as well as a little project, some project work I'm doing for them. But one more time, thank you all so much for all of the support. I really did not expect to get anywhere close to here as quick as I did. It has been an absolute blast, and I have so much more for you. I'm excited to bring that. So feel free to comment, like, subscribe, share, let me know what you think. If there's stuff that you hate, if there's stuff that you don't, if you have had success with the Learn to Play kit or the retailer intro kit, that'd be awesome. If you want to help me QA and kind of test out the teaching playmat I'm actively working on, I'm going to need it. I'm really going to need it. Shoot me a comment here or shoot me an email, decksanddrafts@gmail.com. But that's it for me. Like I said, it's a quickie. I think I'm just over 10 minutes. I'm sorry for that. I guess that's quick for me. Sure, I guess. Anyway, cheers, guys. Thank you so much. And yeah, check out the Patreon. Links are in the description. All right. Cheers, y'all.